Hi there, we are Laura, Jonathan, and Jose. Our case is communication on social media, progress and risk. First, we will present how we define progress from philosophical angle. Second, the concrete advances social media has brought. Third, the emerging risk with an emphasis on post-truth. And fourth, the grounded theory. We will bring two examples, the Israel-Gaza context and the Grok phenomenon. We will close with recommendations and conclusions.
With Ron Beard, progress can mean solving problems, approaching the truth, and accumulating knowledge.
Following Roughton, we recognize there is no single universal standard for measuring progress. Different communities value different ends. Therefore, beyond truth and knowledge, we consider understanding and predictive capacity as relevant dimensions.
For risk, we use the concept of post-truth. We could say post-truth occurs in communicative environment marked by indifference to truth, where the value of the content is defined less by its veracity and more by its persuasive efficacy, and also the emotional appeal, as noted by Madalena and Gili in 2020.
Global communication. Social networks connect people and organizations in real time. This has transformed collaboration, activism, and crisis response. Decades ago, such immediacy would have been unimaginable.
Marketing and entrepreneurship. SMEs, meaning small and medium-sized enterprise, can reach massive audiences and marginal cost, enabling segmentation, iterative campaigns, and market learning.
Access to information and learning. There are ecosystems of tutorials, science communication, and educational communities. In Beard and Roughton's terms, we see problem solving, knowledge accumulation, and greater attempt to broaden understanding of phenomena.
First, we have addiction and fragmented attention. Design centered on engagement metrics can promote excessive use and affect well-being.
Missing information. In conflict settings, unverified content proliferates. Platforms like TikTok report large-scale removals of pieces for missing information and hate speech.
Mental health and erosion of trust. Post-trust deteriorates the shared information base. When persuasive efficacy prevails over veracity, polarization is favored. A forward-looking example is a collapse scenario in which teachers challenge is to teach students to question information reliability and strengths already beginning with platforms like iShow and TikTok.
On one side, we have progress, faster communication, more accessible markets, distribute knowledge. Some speak of a democratization of information.
However, on the other side, we have risk, systematic error, echo chambers, algorithm opacity, and attention capture in hyper-simulated societies.
From this, we identify the agents. Who bears the risk? We have users, especially youth and vulnerable communities, and who decides? Platforms and policymakers. Of course, who benefits? Creators, advertisers, and, when well managed, the public.
During conflicts, and social networks become an arena for informational contestations. Open institutional communication campaigns are combined with covert operations that counter adversarial narratives.
In 2024, a covert campaign linked to Israel Ministry for Diaspora Affairs was documented. According to the New York Times, they used hundreds of fake accounts and AI tools with a budget of about $2 million to influence U.S. public opinion.
In parallel, the humanitarian dimension is critical. UNICEF reported tens of thousands of Palestinian girls and boys killed or injured since 2023, with a severe deterioration of basic service. These figures derive from public methodologies.
Post-truth describes how certain messages can minimize civilian harm to sustain political support. Lies that, although affect justify what is indisputably a genocide, swapping Palestine for Gaza, or civilians for terrorists, manipulates common sense. It is easier to produce a fake than to debunk it.
This brings us to the Grok phenomenon on X, or Twitter. Who defines the truth? Grok, an AI programmed by political actors, was censored after condemning the conflict on Gaza as a genocide funded by the US, citing the ICJ and the UN. However, earlier, it made anti-Semitic comments and admired Hitler without restrictions, only just little adjustments. This shows how post-truth and morality are shaped according to the convenience of whoever monopolizes the platform. In the case of Palestine, who bear the risk? The civilian population, particularly children, and audiences exposed to persuasive campaigns.
Who decides? Government communication teams, agencies, and the platforms themselves, though their policies and algorithms.
Who benefits? Authorities that secure political backing, platforms that capture attention, and the public when it gains access to truthful information.
We define our operative standard as truthfulness and well-being. Following BEARD, truth and knowledge matter. Following Rubicon, we recognize this standard is value-laden.
The balance. There is a clear progress in coordination, access, and learning. Risk increases when dominant incentive is not truth, but persuasive efficacy that fosters post-truth.
For platforms, visible labeling of the origin of political content, public and libraries, and friction for the resharing without verification.
For public and private decision makers, ban and audit cover campaigns, commitments to truthfulness and collaboration with fact checkers.
For education, media literacy attentive to post-truth, source verification routines, and cross-checking with humanitarian data.
Social media has generated undeniable progress in communication, access, and knowledge.
But the risks become critical in conflict contexts due to the use of post-truth.
With standards of truthfulness, transparency, and education, the balance can shift in the favor of the public interest. This leads us to ask, doesn't the progress of communication halt when mirrored by the progress of manipulation? Thank you.